Presidents have a tremendous asset in their boards that they may not be taking full advantage of unless they're encouraging boards to be engaged in strategic issues. The presidency can be a very lonely position, and there's a good deal of pressure on a president that can be shared. Not all of it, but much of it can be shared with the board. It's not up to the president to be the Lone Ranger, the only hero with the answers. It's up to the president to stimulate important conversations whereby everyone learns and different perspectives are brought to bear, especially in these times. It wouldn't do you any good to be a great management guru in these times based on prior times. You need to have different perspectives. It's networking and ideas and brainstorming and consensus and teamwork that are going to carry an institution through. So I would encourage a president to work with the board chair to identify the ways in which both the president and the board can work together to solve important issues for the institution in ways that bring the assets of both to bear for the best interests of the institution. There's no point in having a governing board unless it adds value to the institution and to the leadership of the institution. And one of the emerging ways in which boards are adding a great deal of value is to realize that they can be more engaged at a strategic level without actually getting into the management side of things. So as institutions are facing new times and changes in demography, changes in finance, changes in public attitude, the value of boards becoming increasingly engaged is that they can bring new perspectives and suggestions and ideas about how best to lead the institution and support the president in doing so. An engaged board, you can tell when a board is engaged because there's an energy in the room. The topic is more likely to be about the future than about the details of something that's on the agenda for this meeting. They're likely to raise questions that have not been raised before about why we're doing things, whether we've thought about another approach to things. They're more likely to ask for things to be placed on the next agenda for fuller discussion. They're more likely to have items on the consent agenda and to be very conscious about things that do and do not need discussion. It's impossible for a board to be engaged unless it devotes time to fuller discussions about important issues. And so the way to make time for that is to make sure that the highest priority items have the most time on the agenda. So you'll see that kind of discussion versus staff presentations. If you see a lot of staff explaining things, it's hard for the board to be engaged. They can only be passive.